Hey guys, it's Kayla, or Moon, or that lurker who remains silent until they either get provoked or enticed by something. So I've been going back and forth with making this video, and the reason why is because it's been a tough year. I wasn't sure if I could handle the reception to it, but after consulting with my best friend, she encouraged me to talk my shit. Actually, she told me I should drop my list with no explanation whatsoever, because apparently I shouldn't let others invalidate the things that make me happy. Love you, Christina. I thought the sentiment was beautiful, however, that would make for a terrible video. That being said, here's a ranking of my top 15 BL dramas of 2022. Why is the list so long, you ask? Well, it was a great year for BL. A quick disclaimer, all the dramas on this list began airing in 2022. Any dramas that began airing in 2021 were not eligible. Okay, let's get into it. Opening the list at number 15 is the short-form Japanese BL Old Fashioned Cupcake. When I tell you this series triggered a life crisis for me, I'm not kidding. The theme of being content but not fulfilled is so relatable that it pains me. And if you've been around for a minute, you know I love that pain. Particularly, I enjoyed watching these two middle-aged businessmen going on their little dates, trying new desserts, taking cute selfies, all these activities that Japanese society would consider girly. The way Nozu and Togawa subvert toxic masculinity by having these first experiences together is just so damn wholesome. It reminds me of a baby who's discovering the world for the first time. This drama has such a great message of living your life to the fullest despite the judgment of others. And surprisingly, the concept was well fleshed out for a series with only 5 episodes. I was thoroughly impressed, so I definitely wanted to kick off with this one. Counting down at number 14 is the Thai medical BL, Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Soul. I think I owe financial compensation to everybody I convinced to watch this drama. As you can expect from a hospital setting, there's a lot of death. Here I go with the pain again. The concept of a surgeon trying to save lives while his counterpart is trying to take them? Brilliant. Nut and Karn, who some of you might remember from Grey Rainbow, absolutely kill these roles, no pun intended. But perhaps my favorite aspect of this series is how overdramatic it is, with the constant crying, fighting, plot twists, and orchestral music. I would compare it to a soap opera, a telenovela even. Because Karn plays a Grim Reaper, there are moments where you have to suspend your disbelief, though I feel that all the lore is what makes the story so compelling. As emotionally exhausting as it was to watch all these patients going through it, I appreciated how carefully crafted each character's backstory and development was. We love good writing. Next up at number 13 is the extended version of the Thai BL Love Mechanics. I was not a fan of the miniseries End of Love, so I had no plans of watching this reimagining. However, on a hot summer night, I thought, why the hell not? And I binged the whole drama in one sitting. I had this instant connection with Mark's character to the point where I was sobbing anytime something even remotely sad happened to him. Is this depression or good storytelling? Just when I thought I was over the university engineering student trope, this series rose from the ashes of 2016 and bonked me over the head. It has this nostalgic vibe that brings you back to tradition, minus all the problematic shit. I don't usually go for stories with a cheating plot, but I feel this series kept it real. The consequences that V, Mark, Ploy, and Nua all faced for engaging in these affairs made sense. This is a series where everybody is in the wrong and has to account for the things they've done. There's no Mary Sue, and that's so refreshing to see. Continuing with number 12 is the comedic Japanese BL Kaibe Koji Desires to be Recognized. This is easily one of my favorite dramas to come out of Japan. The main character, Mamoru, is hilarious. I love the way his brain functions, how he interprets kindness for pity and always contradicts himself. He has such low self-esteem and doesn't feel he's deserving of praise, which makes him a character you want to root for. I think all creatives can emphasize with the idea of basing your self-worth on how much attention your work receives. Then we have his idol friend, Issei, who is used to receiving attention and praise, but remains humble throughout all of it. They're an unexpected match, but they complement each other so well. What I really enjoyed about this series was how it felt so animated, like an anime or the manga itself. They managed to preserve all those exaggerated body gags, facial expressions, and theatrical scenes that made the story so goddamn funny. Moving on to number 11 is the supernatural Thai BL, Something in My Room. This drama is a hidden gem and I will bat for it. Everybody who watched Oxygen and doubted Nut's acting ability, you need to watch him in this series and apologize now. I didn't realize he was capable of portraying such an array of emotions, but he went from jolly ghost to vengeful ghost to everything in between. This is another series with a lot of lore, but it mainly focuses on Pat and his psychic friend Dream, who are the only people that can help Pub's spirit move on. It's one of those figure out why you're stuck on Earth stories, but the visual storytelling is anything but ordinary. Pub's tragic backstory is told through a sequence of acts in a stage play, as well as dream sequences where he and Pat float in a purgatory of sorts. It's stunning. The strongest aspect of this series is certainly the directing and how beautifully they execute these storytelling methods that we don't often see in Thai BL. Creeping up at number 10 from the mind of executive producer Saint is the iconic Thai BL Secret Crush on You. Let me tell you, this drama was exactly what we needed in 2022. You have femme, gay, and trans characters in prominent roles, fat phobia and body dysmorphia being portrayed in realistic, respectful ways, and even compulsive hoarding and its repercussions being depicted thoroughly. In particular, it was Sky and Zhao's story that meant the world to me. You have this guy who's known as a playboy developing the most sincere crush on somebody who many consider an outcast. Zhao doesn't fit the beauty standard and he's self-conscious about his weight. It's something that torments his brain, but Sky is always reassuring him, "You're perfect the way you are, there's nothing wrong with you." It's so nice to hear those words in an Asian drama when so often they push these ideals of thinness and paleness. And Daisy, oh my god, one of the best characters ever. There's just so much I could get into, but I'll stop here. Next on the list at number 9 is the severely underrated Thai BL, Cupid's Last Wish. GMMTV made a huge mistake airing this drama on Disney Plus Hotstar. They effectively killed all hype for it, which sucks because it's Earth and Mix. Come on now. This is another series I binged in one go, and I think it should be consumed like that. They're on a road trip, the stakes are high, and the van is small. I'm not crazy about the body swap trope, but I actually loved how this series executed it. The transitions between Win and Lin are done flawlessly, and it helps that Mix and Jan look related. As for Earth and Mix, seeing those two playing blue-collar dairy farmers is something I didn't know I needed. And can I vent for a second? Every single character treated Win like he was some irrational lunatic. But this boy literally inherited a farm that's about to go under. You would be stressed too, maybe even cuss your family out. I mean, can you blame him? Anywho, it's a unique backdrop for a story. That's why I wanted to include it. Coming in at number 8 is the universally loved Thai BL, The Eclipse. I say universally loved, but really it's the first cow tongue effect. I had zero expectations for this drama, and the reason why is because GMMTV flopped in 2022. All the BLs they released were so disappointing, but not this one. I fell in love with Ak and Ayan. I sympathized with them on a deep level. They're trapped in this oppressive school system that not only alienates but punishes those who are different. Their hardships are blamed on a mysterious curse when, in reality, fear is the tool used to keep the students in line. And it's no coincidence that the queer kids are the ones being targeted. This series is a clear allegory for homophobia and its persistence in society. You know one thing about me, I love stories involving generational trauma, but what do I love more? It's seeing characters triumph over that generational trauma, and loss as well. Add astrological symbolism into the equation, and you have a media critic's dream. At lucky number 7 is yet another underrated Thai BL called You're My Sky. The first thing about this drama that stuck out to me is how pretty it looks aesthetically. The color grading is so warm-toned, there's no airbrushing, and I could go on forever about all the beautiful camera shots. I always compare it to the anthology series Project S because it has a similar vibe and it's about sports. But don't go running just yet. You have childhood friends Tubfa and Torn who grew up wanting to play basketball together. Then you have I, the quiet, unamused brainiac, and Sen, his loud, lumbering boyfriend. And lastly, you have Dome and V, track and field teammates whose situationship is complicated by V's sister, who is also Dome's girlfriend. Wild, right? For me, the standout actor was Suar. There's this one scene I keep revisiting where his character has a mental breakdown during a very important game. It's Oscar-worthy, I'm telling you. His acting is so raw and unfiltered. Dare I say, he carried the show. Continuing the list at number 6 is the utmost hidden gem of Thai BL, Ghost Host, Ghost House. If you haven't noticed, I'm a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to ghost dramas. Admittedly, a lot of them are silly. However, this one is not to be taken lightly. The theme of loss that pervades this series hits so close to home. The main character, Kevin, is running from the death of his best friend, and little does he know he's running right into more death. His relatives are ghosts, and their gardener, Plume, has also lost somebody. It's one big trauma bonding party. Believe it or not, my favorite thing about this series is the world building. The exposition of the story is so detailed. We learn what happened to Kevin's relatives and how the merit system works right in that first episode. And I loved that. It made future plot twists feel all the more shocking. Naturally, I bawled my eyes out seeing these characters who are so vulnerable, slowly coming to terms with their grief. And boy Todd, well, their chemistry is to die for. Kicking off at number 5 is the gay rights bonanza that is Cutie Pie. My reason for liking this drama is very simple. It brings me happiness. Sad because I lost my job? Turn on Cutie Pie. Sad because I lost my friend? Turn on Cutie Pie. The stress of whatever I'm going through completely disappears when I hear that OST. Just to be in this bubble where I can smile and giggle about Xenonu for 1 hour out of the day, it means the world. Somehow I became a Zonzon and I'm not jumping ship. As usual, I do have some critiques for this series. The first one is Yi and Dial's relationship. Yi's character was too paternal, even for me. The way he set a curfew for Dial and would get angry when he didn't know his exact location, it's giving helicopter parent. The thing is, I understand that he was handed the responsibility to protect Dial, but that doesn't mean he has to treat him like a literal child. The thing I loved about Leon is that he never tried to strip Kua of his autonomy. He cared for him as the older one in the relationship, but he never tried to control him. With Yi and Diao, it was the opposite. You had Yi shouting at Diao when he disobeyed him. And by disobey, I mean going to support his friend. Speak to me like that? I wouldn't tell you shit. Though I'm coming off harsh, I do have hope for Naughty Babe. My second critique is Sin and Noor not receiving enough screen time. You guys, a little time redistribution wouldn't have affected the other couples. In fact, it might have helped the pacing overall. And while I'm here, let me declare my love for Sin. He's the sweetest, most endearing character, and I love him being a staunch Buddhist. Chef's kiss. Counting on to number 4 is my favorite Korean BL to date, Blooming. This is one of those dramas that hits so close to home that you're left wondering how they got a hold of your diary. I think Siwon is one of the most captivating, gorgeously written characters to come from director Hwang Da-sul's mind. Between Where Your Eyes Linger, To My Star, and Blooming, I'm convinced this woman is Sophocles reincarnated. And much like the Greek playwright, she managed to conjure this lightning ball of pathos and whip it as hard as she could at my diaphragm. Bitch, I was winded. Sometimes it's your own family, and this series depicts that. We see Siwon's mother dealing with the trauma of her husband's abandonment, and she does this by taking control of her children's eating habits. Skip your meals and replace them with protein shakes. Don't drink soda or you're going to get fat. It's this never-ending cycle of disordered eating that's only further encouraged by society's standards of beauty. Additionally, Siwon was bullied as a child for being overweight, so in a twisted way, his mother's obsession with dieting did help him to get ahead in life, and did result in him being admired by his peers instead of mocked. The reality of it is so fucked, and that's why I sincerely love it. I also need to mention how beautifully this series is shot. It's a masterpiece, worthy of the Cannes Film Festival. Truly, I could make an entire video analyzing the symbolism in each frame. And of course, what's a BL without chemistry? There's a delicacy to Siwon and Da-eun's relationship where neither wants to hurt each other, and when they inevitably do, it just seems to deepen their bond. Sitting at number 3 is one of the more controversial Thai BLs to air in 2022, War of Y. The impact this drama had on me should come as no surprise. I've previously discussed the overarching themes in New Ship and War of Managers, and I'm hoping to break down Y Idol in its own video. That being said, let me keep it brief. This series takes inspiration from real events. We'd be naive to think it doesn't. However, I would refrain from naming specific actors because it's fucking weird to gossip about sexual exploitation of real people. Anyways, one thing that set War of Y apart for me was how clever the promotions were. The cast announcement included graphics of the actors in boxes, like action figures, and the intention behind that was to display them as products, made for the consumption of others. There were also the trailers that depicted each story in a metaphorical way instead of previewing scenes from the actual show. All of this really helped to set the tone of the series as a creative outlet for P. Chi-won and Tae, who had a large hand in the production. You have a person who's been working in the BL industry since Lovesick, which is considered the first Thai BL. And with him, you have a seasoned BL actor whose experiences and observations are being fictionalized in a medium that must have been so empowering to be a part of. They're basically taking the narrative into their own hands, but in a witty, poignant manner. One detail I loved about this series was the inclusion of fan comments. If Copy A Bangkok has one thing going for them, it's their ability to say something important through parody. Number 2, here we go. In second place is one of my favorite shows, period. 180 Degree Longitude passes through us. I almost hesitate to call this a BL, but I'm not too strict with the categorization. The best way I can describe this series is that it's like one long stage play. In fact, the actors have described it as such. The plot of this series had me gagged. You have this overbearing mother and her stubborn son who are constantly butting heads over just about everything. There's also this disturbing level of emotional incest going on where the mother is so possessive of her son that it leads to jealousy. So basically the son, whose name is Wong, tracks down his late father's best friend, a reclusive man named In. And his reason for doing so is twofold. He wants to learn more about his father's early life, and he's fervidly interested in this old friend of his. I wonder why. More or less, it's a story about fearing your own sexuality and trying to break the cycle of trauma. Lately, I've been gravitating towards shows where the narrative is carried by character development rather than tangible changes in setting or scenario. And for me, 180 Degree is a shining example of this. Not once through their string of arguments, confessions, or feverish stares from across the room did I get bored. And that's unheard of for someone like me who has to be consuming at least 3 forms of media simultaneously at all times. It's the scandal of liking the same man your father liked, and your mother resenting that man because she blames her ex-husband's death on him. Ugh. Can you guys do me a favor? Please request a full video on this series so I have an excuse to make it. Okay, let's get it over with, yeah? My overall favorite series of 2022 is the Thai Mafia BL KinnPorsche. Are you perplexed? If so, I understand. This series is polarizing because it raises the question, is abuse being romanticized? I want to dedicate a whole video to answering this question, so tell me if that's something you'd still be interested in watching. As for now, I'm compelled to say the romanticization comes from the fandom and poor writing, but I'll touch on that in a second. I'll be honest, I have about 100 critiques of this series ranging from plot holes and pacing to characterization and general fuckery. And yet, it's the series I have the most love for. I wake up every day missing Porsche, Tankoon, Big, Ken, all these characters I latched onto for better or worse. This series sparked my love for Appo, and I don't think anybody could have brought that character to life like he did. The way Porsche's sexual trauma was depicted gave justice to that sensitive topic. The action sequences set the bar for all Mafia-inspired BL from now on. The episodes that were good were really good, and likewise for the characters. Now for my 2 biggest critiques. Vegas and Kim being poorly written characters. For me, Vegas was a sorry excuse for a villain. And before anybody tries to say he isn't one, he kidnapped, raped, and murdered people. Like, a lot of people. That sounds like a villain to me. Ironically, my critique is that he wasn't evil enough. And so, there are moments where you're not sure whether they're trying to humanize him or if they're having to tone him down for TV. Kim is an even hollower character because there's nothing that drives him. Why is he investigating his family? And why is he so bad at it? If he's a famous singer, then how has nobody dug up his Mafia past and canceled him? If fan-taken photos of him exist, then how has nobody spotted him with a minor and informed the police? These are the questions that keep me up at night. I will say as well that Kim and Porsche could have gone so badly that I'm glad it ended where it did, you know? And my brief take on Vegas Pete is that I hated them. But again, tell me if you'd like a full analysis on this series and the topic of romanticization. Thank you to the moon and back for sitting through this long-ass video. Like I said in the beginning, 2022 was a great year for BL, and I'm hoping that 2023 is even better. There were some honorable mentions I had in mind, but since they're still airing, I didn't want to talk about them just yet. For now, I'll leave you on a cliffhanger. I do want to quickly plug the Lovecast Thailand trip Kickstarter. We're planning to travel on site for guest interviews and other fun BL-related content, but we need your help to make it happen. You can read more about the trip and the perks we're offering on the campaign page. If you or anybody you know is able to donate, the link will be in the description. Again, thank you guys for watching and waiting. Emphasis on waiting. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!